Case number 272 on calendar, Hall versus Price.
IT specialist Christopher Hall says his ex-roommate's dog tore up their home. Defendant Morgan Price claims Christopher did his share of damage too.
Seems that the problem is that there was a forfeiture of the security deposit, yes, and you say that that is at least mostly the fault of the defendant because of his dog.
That's right, yes, sir.
All right, well, let's hear about it. What time period are we talking about, sir, relative to this group of roommates?
Well, we moved in 2 years ago, and we lived there for a year. We rented a place in Cary, North Carolina.
All right,
so we lived there for a year.
Next question. How many of you were there?
7 people in all, but at any time there were only 5 people. 2 people moved out halfway through. 2 people moved in their place.
All right, sir. What was the security deposit, the total one that was required to rent this?
$1,600.
Who originally put this $1,600 up?
The first 5 roommates, me and 4 other roommates.
Was the defendant one of those initial roommates?
Yes,
And what happened when you moved out of there?
We moved out a year later, and there were all kinds of damages. The landlord gave me a listing of all the damages, signed and everything. I have it here for you, listing everything and how much it all was. And I highlighted everything dog-related, and it's nearly everything.
Okay, now, this is from the landlord. Have you seen this?
No, sir.
Submit this to the defendant. You take a look at that. Here's a cover letter, I think it goes with it, or the rest of it.
Those 2 are from the other 2 roommates whose shares of the deposit I covered, making my total $960 instead of just 1/5.
1/5 would be $320.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me take a look at that, and I'll see what we're talking about here. This is from Brown Escrow, Cary, North Carolina. Deposit $1,600. Damages, let's see. He had to remove 1 couch that was left there, remove 1 giant pile of trash. I guess that has to do with what you say is part of your defense. Everybody trashed the place. All right, replace entry door, which appears to be chewed by a dog. He puts the notation down in parentheses. Then we have replace garage door knob, chewed by a dog. Okay. Parquet foyer floor, deep scratches, claw marks by a dog. Replace vinyl flooring, many cuts in flooring. Sliding door, center post chewed by a dog. Garage door, deep scratch marks. 3 custom wood blinds damaged, 2 repaired, 1 replaced. And you did your calculations down here. Total dog-related $880.50, which equates to 82.4% of the damage. You calculate. Total non-dog-related $401.25, or 17.6% of the damages, and the total $2281.75. So somebody had to pay a little bit more than the security deposit, or has that balance been collected by the landlord?
No, the landlord didn't pursue the difference.
Okay, and these are 2 letters from other tenants stating that you covered their
share deposit. Yes.
In other words, you put it up initially.
Right.
We'll be back with more of Judge Joe Brown after this.
We're talking about a Rottweiler.
What's his name, by the way?
Tranquila. Tranquil.
Tranquila, the tranquil beast, seems to have chilled out by releasing all of his frustrations of taking a good chew every now and then.
Closed captioning sponsored in part by...
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says his ex-roommate's Rottweiler did extensive damage to their former residence. The defendant says his dog does not deserve all the blame. Let's take a look.
All right, let's go to the defendant. I'll say you, sir, in response to all of this.
I'd first of all say that my dog was not responsible for all of that damage, and to cite the prime...
Saying your roommates got a little wild one evening, they started chewing on the garage door?
One night we had a little party and had quite a few people over there, which was...
Somebody chewed the door.
Actually, one of our roommates did break the sliding glass door.
All right, he's talking about the chewed center column on the sliding glass door. He didn't get down and chew it.
A center column
after he
doesn't
broke
cost $600 and... How much did they cite?
Let's say they had to replace the whole door, he says. $525.
But he admits to damaging it and breaking it and never taking responsibility and contacting the landlord to replace it or fix it before we moved out.
Well, what kind of dog are we talking about?
talking about a Rottweiler. He's a pretty big guy. He's a great.
You have pictures? I've
got some great pictures.
Thanks.
Let's see. He brings pictures of what's his name, by the way?
Tranquilo.
Tranquil. And he's chilled out right there. Look at him, taking a snooze. All right, he's giving somebody a high five. Cute. Okay, so you've got a Rottweiler.
Right.
You claim that these representations by the landlord that apparently are agreed with by the plaintiff over here are not, in fact, things that were chewed by your animal.
Well, I disagree with first of all, the flooring is another example. There were 7 different people that lived there. The plaintiff never swept or vacuumed or really made much attempt to keep the place clean. And from time to time, I tried to keep it sanitary. What I'm saying is, no one really kept the house up. It wasn't kept clean. It wasn't kept in any sort of nice condition, and I didn't expect to see any of that deposit money back from the get-go, from the beginning. I mean, I've lived in similar situations with, in group housing while I was in college, and we didn't receive a refund on our deposit.
Well, I mean, you better learn how to take care of a place, but I mean, you're saying everybody was a slob over here. But, debris can be swept up, wiped up, picked up. But when something's tearing it up, you got to fix it up. And that's the problem, fixing up rather than cleaning up.
Judge Joe Brown makes his ruling after this.
Has a violent crime cost you money? Call 1-877-JOE'S-LAW or on the internet, judgejoebrown.com.
Tranquila, the tranquil beast, seems to have chilled out by releasing all of his frustrations, aggressions, and tensions by taking a good chew every now and then. I think you've proven your case. Now, your damages here. You say that in essence, the animal is responsible for 82.4% of the damages. So you're saying he should be liable to you for 82.4% of your $960. Is that true?
Yeah, that would be fair.
He should be liable for $791.18.
Plus interest.
$791.18 in the court cost.
This court is in recess. Gentlemen, I'll ask you to step on out. You may go first, please.
Thank you.
And I'll have you back.
Tomorrow on Judge Joe Brown.
You decided to keep the child.
After speaking with the social worker.
A young mother makes a choice.
What are you doing?
I was considering adoption, but I did change my mind.
You've got a mess going here.
Next, Judge Joe Brown.
The defendant in this case says his former roommate did as much damage as his Rottweiler, and he never expected to get his security deposit back. The plaintiff did, and the judge says he should. He deserves it. He wins. For information on future cases or to contact this court, check out our website at judgejoebrown.com.